Hi all, welcome back to the final whistle then for the late night whistle. And tonight, there's a lot to discuss regarding Leicester City. More outgoings, potentially an incoming, a Portuguese incoming, by the way, Ricardo Pereira, Well, Ricardo was the last good player we actually brought in from Portugal. I know we had Adrian Silva as well, but that one never worked out as well as Ricardo. But we're going to discuss James Justin. We're going to discuss Hamza Choudhury. We're going to discuss João Rego, who's Leicester City are interested in. It's reported to be a loan with an obligation to buy. So could that be a Bilal El Khanous replacement? We're going to chat with Steve about Bilal El Khanous as that release clause runs out in about just under 3 hours. So, let's chat. Guys, as always, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new and you haven't subscribed to the final whistle. Please get down and do so. It'll help me out massively. Like target tonight. I'm going to leave that to Steve. Steve, how are we?
Yeah, not too bad. Yourself?
I'm all right. For the viewers then, Steve, what's the like target for tonight?
Let's do 70, shall we?
Let's go 70, right.
70.
Fantastic. Let's see who's in. Liam, how are we? Adam, Clibo. Dan, how's it going, Jack? Hope you have some good news for us as well. Hopefully we do. Good afternoon, Dallas Foxes. Foss Hub's in. We know Foss Hub's quite busy this time of year when it comes to transfers and everything he hears. And, a very good page to follow on X. If no one's following Foss Hub, go and follow him.
So a bit of a nice thing for Foss Hub. I don't have anybody's notifications on Twitter apart from Foss Hub. So whenever he tweets, it always pops up straight away on my feed. He's the only one. So take that as you will.
Fantastic. Hello to all who's joining. Get comfy, grab a tea. This is the late night whistle. Woo woo. Evening, Ross. Evening, Dave. Evening, Brendan. How are we, mate? Hope you're good. Good to have you in as always. I'm straight, man, but if there's someone to tell me, it would be you, Bear. Fantastic. Nice to know we can exchange you into an even better Leicester fan than before, but a bit more positive Leicester fan, maybe. I don't know about anything else. That's better left for another day. Steve, I don't know what our missus would think to that.
I think she'd be fine with it, to be honest. It's all good.
You can share things I sent you today. Put everything where pinch of salt. Yeah, I'll discuss it with Steve. Right, Steve, where do we want to start? I'll tell you what, we'll start. James Justin. Mm-hmm. Right, so Zinny Boswell, well, he got reported by Alex Crook before, but I'm just going to touch on this one. Leeds United are advancing in talks with Leicester City over a deal for James Justin. They are in discussions now around the fee. 27-year-old has 1 year left on his current deal. Leeds are looking to bolster their fullback options, and Justin can play on the right and on the left and bring Premier League experience. Strong interest by Leeds. There was interest by Everton. Leeds have now made that move. There is the fee in the region of about £5 to £7 million. Take that with a pinch of salt, what you will. There's no actual what the fee is, but what is your thoughts on that one regarding James Justin going to Leeds and could potentially now be the fourth player to leave Leicester City this summer transfer window, Steve?
Well, I feel a little bit sorry for Justin because he came on the scene with quite a lot of potential and did really well in England international as well, which is always a positive. The issue is that he's had a couple of long-lasting injuries, which isn't ideal. But as a player that's got 1 year left on his contract, if we can get 5 or 6 million, which would all be profit as well, bear in mind, then I feel with Justin is that he's run his course with Leicester, like several players in our squad. And as much as he does He can play in a couple of positions, which is good. It's a good play to have. But, last year we saw that he couldn't cut it in the Premier League with Wout fast next to him. That's for sure. But, yeah, it's a player that I thought would leave. And if we can get a decent amount of money for him, then great. Reinvest it, basically.
Well, that's what we're hoping. We don't know as Leicester City fans to just keep selling these players, because that's all it seems to be happening, Steve. We've sold Hermanson and Didi and Connor Cody for a combined £30 million.
Yep.
James Justin, if we can get between 5 and 7 million, I think fantastic. I think we brought him in that sort of price bracket anyway. Justin, fantastic when he came in. Really got done well in the Premier League, looked a real top fullback at the time. But then his injury came and it sort of hampered his career at Leicester City quite heavily. In the last one that he had, which I believe was an ACL injury. And to recover from them type of injuries, they're not easy. And when you start getting one injury at a football club, you tend to get a lot more in them sort of areas. So I feel sorry for him, I do, because he did well before. He even scored an absolute cracker at Cardiff away in the Championship, by the way, which I do agree with you, Steve. He has run his course. We do need to get money for these players, which are like 1 year left on their current deal at Leicester. Mm-hmm. So I did sort of feel that if Leeds did put the money where the mouth was, that it just wasn't interest and inquiry like Leicester have been doing, then I think we'd snap your hand off for the money to get him at the minute. And obviously, looking at the players with 1 year left on the current deal, there's about 7 more apart from Justin. So I think it'd be good money for Leicester. I do. And last season he struggled. He just hasn't been the same, has he? It's not the James Justin we knew, what we brought, and like I say, injuries of what's hindered him massively. He's a better left back than he is a right back, but yeah, I think it's about time. Like Ndidi, you just sell him because it's the right time for the club and the player to move on.
Yeah, for sure. And as I say, he's an England international before he had his second injury.
Yeah,
and I feel like you saw last season in the Premier League, there are times where there was a 50-50 and he sort of shied out a little bit, which is unfortunate for a player that's had major injuries. You don't want to be sort of pulling out of tackles or not going full-hearted into it. So, yeah, get him gone. Bring somebody in that is younger, a better fit for Marty's system as well, because I feel that, and we've seen in the last couple of games, that he likes his fullbacks to push it into the number 10 role, be that sort of advanced number 10. And I just don't think he's technically gifted enough to play like Luke Thomas. Unfortunately, I just don't think they're both gifted enough to play in that scenario. But yeah, good money, get him gone. Thank you for playing for Leicester. You did your bit, but time to sling your rock.
Bloody hell. that's big word, that. Justin, if you're listening, Steve didn't mean it, I promise. No, he didn't.
I did.
Yeah, well. Steve, looking at the fullback positions, obviously with Justin leaving the club, which is due to happen at any point, we've got Ricky P, who's now fit again. We've got Christensen, Luke Thomas, Koulibaly, Olabadi Aluko. So there's 5 fullbacks at the club now when Justin's sold. Who do you sort of fit in them positions now going forward?
Well, I feel like you put Ricardo in at right back when he's fit, and that's the big issue there, is that when he's fit, he's fit 60% of the time at the moment, which is not ideal for your captain, but he is the best right back we've got at the club. When it comes to left back, I mean, jury's still out on Thomas for me. He wasn't great against Sheffield Wednesday in all accounts, and he was quite poor on Wednesday night as well. And you look at what his level is, and it's clearly not Premier League for Thomas, unfortunately. I just got to hope that Aluko comes on leaps and bounds this season, because I think he could make that position his own. But if you were to ask me, I would suggest bringing somebody in. We're going to have to, at some point, reinvest into different areas. And that is a key area, for sure.
Thomas doesn't look good enough for me. He weren't great against Huddersfield either.
No, I think he's a confidence player, isn't he? And
Yeah,
once the fans get on your back a little bit, I think he just his head dips. And there was a couple of times where he had the opportunity to pass into space into the wingers we had with Mavididi, which I won't talk about Mavididi because I'm very annoyed about him. But he was just sort of he got the ball and he was just taking his time, and we're all screaming for the ball to go forward, and he
yeah.
was just slowly passing it to the centre back, and you're like, that's not what we want. That's not what the manager. And you could see also that Marty was getting really pissed off in the first half with the team again,
Yeah.
and that's down to the fullbacks, unfortunately, because they're not being quick enough pushing up the pitch.
Is Ricky P fit for tomorrow? Well, he's back in training. Whether he starts or not is another thing. Is he fit enough to start? It depends. He'll probably go Hamza at right back again, which looked very much didn't really look great on Wednesday night, apart from the goal that he scored, a bit clumsy at times.
Did you think that was a goal when he first hit it? Because I thought it went over. And then suddenly the net rippled, and I was like, fucking hell.
I'll tell you what, when you're sitting that far back like you did, you sort of see that in it. When you look closer, it's like do you know what though? He doesn't actually score tap-ins, does he, Hamza Choudhury?
No,
in that goal against Newcastle in the Carabao Cup where he absolutely scored the absolute wonder goal. He can hit the ball, but where is his favourable position? Because you look at his CDM role. I mean, Newcastle away last season were an absolute shit show from him and Oliver Skip, by the way. But then people say, you know what, he can do a job in the Championship at right back. But then how do you sort of look at it in where you put him, Steve?
Well, that is I don't think he's good enough to play central midfield for this team, because you look at Samare and you need an engine. And yes, Choudhury does have an engine to an extent, but you also need to have that technical ability to pass the ball into space.
Which Feldstein are we talking about?
I don't know. But I don't think he's technically good enough to be a holding midfielder to pass the ball around the back. But then, yeah, as you said, the right back position against Huddersfield, he gave away a penalty. He could have gave away a second penalty. And he sort of, the amount of times they got through onto our back two with Nelson and Fast was mostly down Choudhury's side, because he pushed up into that cam roll and then left the area free. So I don't know. And he's another one that's got a year left on his deal. And if we were to get money from Wrexham for him, then great, because unfortunately for him, he's not Premier League quality. And if we are aiming to get back up there, you don't want these players that are on 60 grand a week to be sort of standing around not playing.
Yeah. Hi, Joe. Any news on the points deduction yet? Maybe the player's sensing something. I don't think it's the player sensing something. I just think he trusted the same bloody crap of crop what we had last year. The thing is, you can't teach an old dog new tricks with this squad. Like, Marty's come in, he needs the tools to work with, and he's got the same squad Van Nistelrooy had and Cooper had, but you're not going to turn them into world beaters. I don't know what you expect. You're not going to turn Oliver Skip into Sergio Busquets and bloody Samare into Patrick Vieira. It just isn't going to work. So
yeah, exactly. And it's well known that there are several players that have been pushing for a move away from the club this summer.
Yeah.
And and you could see that in the starting 11 against Sheffield Wednesday. There are players that even started that probably wouldn't be here if they had the choice. And you can't. I feel for Marty, because you're going to be picking players to do a job, and if those players don't really want to be here, they're going to put in half-arse efforts. And I think that's what we've had the last couple of games. And come the end of the transfer window, the starting 11 will be completely different to how it is opening day or even against Huddersfield. We will still see, in my opinion, 6 or 7 players leave, and we're going to be very busy in the last week.
Yeah. 3 quality goals versus Huddersfield. Yeah, there were some nice goals, just not player performances of what we expected. Did I see Wrexham sniffing around Hamza? We're going to discuss him in a minute. Ben Nelson looked bad, didn't he? I know he's young, but he was bad. I don't know about Ben Nelson on Wednesday. I don't think it was a great performance at all. I just think he really struggled.
Yeah, he did. but then again, you've got Wout Fast next year, and you've got a Hamza Choudhury that wants to push up down the pitch. Yeah, I think he'd do better in a central defensive partnership with Vestergaard, to be honest. But we'll see if that ever comes about. But yeah, to be fair, the whole team struggled. The first half on Wednesday was some of the worst football I've ever seen. And again, I always hate watching Oliver Skipp's bold head for a lot of it. And even the second half, we scored and then we went, oh, well, we're too good for these. Don't worry about it. And then we sat back and and that's the issue with this club, is that I think the players think they're better than they are, when they're clearly not. A lot of them are terrible.
Yeah. Now, this is what I sort of seen in the Sheffield Wednesday game as well in the first half. Like, Sheffield Wednesday haven't got many players. They've not got great players compared to we have. And they're like, yeah, well, okay, then, well, this is going to be a stroll in the park, this. And then when teams start coming at them and slapping them about, they're like, hold on a minute, this ain't what we expected. Like, this is supposed to be an easy work. And you lot make it hard on yourselves.
Yeah.
Also,
Tripe and Onion, I'm receding, mates. Don't worry about it. I've got McDonald's M. It's fine. Like, we can take the piss out of bold people because I'm going.
Doyle is slow. No more centre backs. Well, Callum Doyle has been a name that's mentioned a few weeks ago. I don't know if I'd bring him back. To be fair, I just don't think we've got £10 million to bloody throw at Callum Doyle at this amount of time. So, Steve, I want to touch on one player with you. And I know you think I'm going to bring up now. Harry Winks scored the goal, didn't celebrate. I don't know. Like, you looked at his reaction. What do you reckon? Is it one that he could sense a move happening before the end of the window, or is it the case that he's pissed off with skipping Samara getting ahead of him? How do you sort of see these mixed feelings?
Yeah, I'll be honest. There are whispers that he's the player that is pushing for a move away from the club. And it doesn't surprise me. You look at last season, getting sort of chucked out the team and not considered good enough from Ruud van Nistelrooy, and because of his attitude. Fair enough. Like, I get that. Like, if you're not going to want to stay at the training ground and help your team, then fine, by all means, piss off. Especially posting pictures of yourself on Instagram the day we got relegated to Liverpool, going for a walk in the park and having a drink. But yeah, the game, the goal he scored, I was a bit annoyed that he didn't celebrate, because we've had that with 3 goals now this season.
Yeah.
Vestergaard didn't celebrate. We had that Wout Fast cupping ear incident, and then we've had Harry Winks just running back to the halfway line. And if he's not happy, fine. Piss off. I said I'm quite aggressive here, but I don't care if these players are unhappy.
Yeah.
If you don't want to be here, fine. I don't care for you. Like, the year that you got us up to the championship, from the championship, great. You were great for the 3/4 of the season, but you've been dog awful in the last 18 months. And you may think you're better than you actually are, but you're not. So yes, I think annoyingly, I think he starts tomorrow. It's great. I say it's great. He'll replace Skip, because we've had 2 and a bit games of Skip and it's just not good enough. And that might change his mind. But again, come the end of the window, if he's not here, are we all going to be that bothered? I don't think so. I think if we were to lose Samara, Winks, all these arrogant pricks that think they're better than they are, great. I don't care. I don't care.
Fair enough. I love your honesty, Steve. That's not sugarcoating. That's what you need, though. A lot of fans have different opinions, and it's good to hear them side of opinions, because you don't know if you have one opinion, it's boring, isn't it? If everyone agreed, it'd be well, Harry Winks is ringing Steve as we speak, so I won't go and answer that phone, Steve. It might
that's my wife coming in from a pizza shift. That's all.
Winds me up, Steve. It's like arrogance. Oh, I ain't celebrating in this league. The thing is, they get paid the money, what they're on, to go and perform and play. And if you're not going to get that move, you carry on playing for this football club, no matter what. So that's the same for Isaac at Newcastle. You're under contract, you're getting paid, do your fucking job, what you're paid to do, put on that shirt and go and give 100%, because the fans are the ones that have to travel up and across the country to go and watch this team 100% and get behind it. So that's what they need to be doing. But it's like half-arsed. Like, we're better. better than this. Well, you clearly ain't, are you? You clearly lost to Huddersfield on penalties, which was shit penalties, by the way, by some of them. And, you know, just crap bloody game until we scored them 2 goals. So this is where I sort of look at some of these players, and I think you can be replaced if the club are actually willing enough to do so. But this is the situation we're in, isn't it, Steve, where the club is selling all these players, but what about actually bringing players in to replace them? You know, you've got chances to bring them in on loan, these players, or a couple of free agents. If you're not going to spend big money, then do that type of role about it.
Yeah, so obviously the club is hamstrung with the wage budget as it is. And if we were to move on Justin and Choudhury and Winks, you know, that's a significant amount of money saved every week that we can end up spending on these players. And I think the most important thing is that, like, okay, we've been relegated from the Premier League. We are still a big draw to these players. We will still, you know, we are well known that we give youth players a chance, ignoring the fact that we signed a few sort of 30-plus-year-old recently. But we give young players a chance, and if the right bid comes in, we will allow them to go and to a bigger club, you know, and that's a good thing to have. But what's important, and it really pisses me off about football clubs nowadays, and not so much the club, but the players itself. You sign for a club, and then you think, oh, after a year, I can leave, jump up into another division, and because I'm good enough to do it. But if you don't put the performances on the pitch, you don't deserve to leave. You know, you need, and the reason why, like, we talked to Rich the other day on the prediction show about like Fatu and stuff, and the reason I think Fatu stays is because he's had a year out of injury and he wants a year of football before potentially moving on in the summer, and that would be fine. Like, if he stays and gets us back up and he leaves, okay, great. But yeah, we need to replace them with players that actually want to be at the club, that want to build something. You know, gone are the days where we get promoted with Kasper Schmeichel and Mahrez and Vardy and Drinkwater. And Drinkwater not so much, but players that wanted to be at the club, that were enjoying the football, that had that togetherness, the fight, the I'll have your back. If somebody comes at you, you know, like Ashley Williams did against Mahrez, that was, you know, putting in some strong tackles, you get Vardy to smash him. You know, that's what you need. You want players that want to be at the club. And if you don't have it, it pisses me off. Yeah, I keep saying it pisses, but it does. It's really frustrating to turn up to a game against Huddersfield where it's boiling fucking hot after eating
degrees,
after eating a load of really nice chicken, to then stomach that shit performance that we had in the first half. And then the penalties. I stood in just to the entrance of the concourse when Casey stood up, because I was like, he's gonna miss, and I'm going, because I ain't standing around getting stuck in traffic. And yeah, I just knew it was going to happen because they're not good enough. And I keep saying, sorry, I keep going on tangents, Jack, to say they're not good enough, but they're not good enough.
Well, Tribe said, I've not performed with a wife for 2 years, but she's still here. Any tips?
Yeah, usually use your penis. That's the tip. You know.
Yeah, it's interesting turn up, aren't they? Now Jamie Vardy is in there. Sort yourselves out or go home. Here it'll be difficult. Well, this is my problem. And the penalty, you just look how you stepped up to that, and he just walked it and then just hit it, and the keeper just knew what he was going to do. The Bilal one, I don't know. It reminded me of do you remember the England versus Spain penalties, the England women's penalties, when Spain missed that penalty? That she sort of stood on an angle, didn't she, and then whipped the wall round, and then it went wide. That's sort of how Bilal stepped up to his penalty.
Yeah.
I just don't get why people stutter, man. It winds me.
Yeah.
Jamie Vardy put his foot fucking through everything.
Yeah. Paul Gallagher, you know.
Penalty taker.
Yeah.
Exactly. Paul Gallagher, yeah. Same.
Yeah, can we stop this fucking tippy-tappy sort of slow walk up? Just hit the fucking ball. You know, if it goes over, it goes over. At least you're not doing the 5-minute warm-up before you fucking put the ball in the back or you miss. Like, I knew we were going to lose on penalties, because we've lost 4 now since 4 out of 4 for me on penalty shootouts. I've never seen Leicester win a penalty shootout in person. But I just knew it, because you look at who took up to take it: Jordan Ayew, Luke Thomas, Bilal Kounou, Casey McAteer, and who was the 5th taker?
So Ayew, McAteer took last. Ayew stepped up first.
Yeah, Bilal missed with his penalty.
Was it stepped up?
Thomas and Thomas.
Bilal stepped up.
Yeah, and out of those, you look. Is there a decent quality penalty taker there?
Good.
But yeah, I don't know. It pisses me off again. It keeps pissing me off. It's a Friday night.
Yeah, you want to be right-headed from Preston? No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I didn't eat the whole of it. I think I ended up giving it to my friend in the end because he said he was still hungry. So like, hey, then here's all for this. So he was quite happy with it. He ended up having a bloody burger and all. I'm like, and that had pulled pork on. That was the best bloody thing from the night, the food review. Apart from that, but it was unlucky, really, that pathetic. As you say, Steve, they're not good enough to do it. Daka has 100% penalty success rate, I think. Yeah. Was Daka on the pitch against Huddersfield?
No, he came off, didn't he? He came off because he started.
Is that the only time I've seen him on the pitch?
Yeah, I think so.
I think I've seen him once in the game. The only player I've seen a lot more of was Jeremy Monga, and he was fantastic, by the way. I was hoping Mavididi would do the same Monga did, because that fullback for Huddersfield were there to be beat every single time, and I think it was Lyndon Gooch, and he was like, what's he, like an experienced player in these leagues? And you're thinking, okay, you go and do what he's just been doing, because Monga's going to be competing for your place, Mavididi. So you go and prove that you can do what he can do and be better at it. So,
can we go on to Mavididi now then? Because let me tell you, Jack, there was a bit where the ball gets played down to Bill Elkanous, who was taking it down the wing, and Jordan Ayew was busting his arse to get into the penalty area, and Mavididi was still on the halfway line, and you're like, it's 3-on-2. What are you like? And then every time he got the ball, he slowed it down, did his little step over, and then didn't produce anything. So I got really. Yeah, it was really, really annoying for you to think, okay, you're.
It's not that they didn't want to shoot it goal.
Yeah, I guess my issue with Monga on Wednesday as well is that his end product, as much as he's got all this skill, he needs to work on his end product still. I know he's only 16, so it's going to come. You can't have that pressure on him for sure. But like, he got into an area. Yeah, exactly. At least he tried. Unlike Mavididi, he was just a lazy shit.
Massive changes tomorrow, I hope. Yeah, Huddersfield fan.
We were singing Sunderland away. Or like, I didn't hear it, and I started quite a lot of the chants in our section.
Didn't they? Why is it with every fan when we sing the Fish-Eyed chant? Why do they sit there and assume that we've sang something else?
Yeah. I
Champions of England, you'll never sing that. Like, what are you even on, man? Like, do you ever listen?
Also, they won the league in 1925, Jack. They weren't alive when that was pre-World War II. What? They weren't alive.
None of them were. I think they've won quite a few division titles, haven't they, Huddersfield?
In the 1920s. They haven't won anything since.
That guy would put me bloody off on the left-hand side, dude. Leicester fans were getting a bit of stick to it, and he kept giving us back. Then he took his top off, started waving his shirt around, and I was put off by that. I was thinking, what's going on? I looked at it, and it was a penalty.
Yeah, so with the fatty chant, I was a bit like, but like, we were doing that, and then all of a sudden we heard them cheering. I looked up because I was watching him rather than the game. And
I was. We was having a bit of banter with him, and you know the lot. But,
I don't know where they thought we were. Yeah, I don't know why they thought we were singing Sunderland away, because I didn't hear that at all. I got into a little bit of an argument with somebody online, but I'll be honest, he missed his mum's touch.
That also got sang as well, actually. So.
It'll be sang tomorrow as well.
Better less than that, the better, I think. Steve, where should we go next? Hamza Choudhury. I mean, Wrexham, they've got ex-player Matty James, Danny Ward, Connor Cody, Lewis Brunt. They're now interested in Hamza Choudhury, which is firm interest, according to the Football League World. What do you make of that? Wrexham again? Do you think they will cough up the money for Hamza? And if Hamza is, how much is he actually worth? Can we actually be significant to say we can get rid of him?
So I don't think you're going to look at more than 4 million, unfortunately, with his year left on his contract. He's not he's not on the levels as if Winks is sort of 8 to 9 million, Choudhury's at least half that. And at this point, Wrexham fans should just support Leicester, right? Because they're trying to steal all of our players, but they're taking all the shit ones. So I'm okay with that. If he was to go to Wrexham, great. Enjoy Wales. It gets quite cold over there, but you know, you'll fit in well, I guess, with the rest of the shit players that they're taking from Leicester. So,
yeah. Well, according to Fossil, he did send me something earlier. Take it where pinch of salt is what you will, like we do. Apparently, we tried for Kajuste online. Is he on loan? I believe he's just gone to Ipswich. Kajuste, I believe he's just signed back there. As soon as Marty came in, however, they wanted a higher loan fee, and Kajuste only wanted a return to Ipswich. Kone was never too advanced. It was more Kone's agent trying to generate interest as desperately wanted to leave Wickham.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Kajuste, good midfielder, even though we need a striker. But like Fossil says, you take it where pinch of salt. It's not really an exclusive, but it's just something that we've obviously missed out on if it is to be true what's being said there.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, we're always going to get miss out on certain players at times. It all depends on the package, doesn't it? So, you know, I don't know a lot about him, to be honest, but hey, fair play. Like, he didn't want to come here. He went to Ipswich instead. Fine. Konem, a little bit more annoyed about. I think he could have done a job, but if the interest wasn't actually there from Leicester and it was more to do with the agent, it makes sense. Because, you know, agent talk, if QPR come in and say, well, we'll offer you 20 grand, and they say, well, Leicester are going to give me 25, and they're going to up their offer, aren't they? So it's a shame. I think he could have done well, but yeah, I'm not. My issue now is that, we are now being linked to players, which is good, which is a big change. And so we might see some movement in the next week or so. And
hopefully a striker.
Yeah, and the guy that we've been linked with, João Rego, he can play up front and as number 10. So, you know, that could fit the position well. The biggest problem is that if it's just going to be on loan, like, we don't just want every single loan player. We want to bring players in full time.
No, I've not shared the PSR fee. So Fossil sent me something earlier again about PSR. If we somehow go up somehow this year, we're able to spend a lot next year. With the prize money on top of the lack of spending this summer, while bringing in 30 plus, we'll just keep the club above PSR. We still need to pay the rest of Skip and Akoli's transfers, which is another reason why we can't spend at all. It's issues further than Leicester, which is the issue. Apparently, it's not just a PSR problem. It's generally the fact that King Power has lost so much money altogether. That's part of the problem as well.
Yeah, so I think that's something that I've heard as well, that like money-wise, we're selling players to make sure that we don't come afoul with PSR again next year. And if we did go, we could spend money. The big issue for me with King Power losing money is that, you know, the top who, bear in mind, King Power don't own Leicester City. It's Top's family that owns Leicester City. But if they're taking a hit, then that's going on the bottom line for Top as well.
We do,
I do. The parachute payment obviously halves this year. So, you know, we're not earning as much on parachute payments this year as we did. So there is a black hole for sure. And I think it's likely that we'll be looking for investment next summer, if not this summer, this season. I think we'll see a movement next year in regards to somebody potentially coming in and putting money into the club or selling. Because a profit on the balance sheet looks better to a selling club than it does as a loss. That's for sure.
Steve, let's talk about a potential incoming at Leicester City. I mean, we've had a few Portuguese players. Ricardo's probably been the best one out of the lot. This man, Cabine Desportiva, Record Portugal have also admitted to it, which I'm going to get it up in a minute. Leicester are interested in a loan with an obligation to buy for João Rego from Benfica. The Championship team highly values the young player's characteristics for the number 10 role, and he can also play as a second striker. João Rego is on Leicester's target list. The team that will compete in the second tier of English football according to what was possible to ascertain. There have been surveys amongst the Reds to understand the conditions that can guarantee the young talent on loan. For now, there is no white smoke in the negotiations, even if the 20-year-old is not entering Bruno Lage's accounts at the start of the season. Leicester, Marti Cifuentes considers João Rego has interesting attributes to play at a number 10 or a second forward, and therefore has already made it known to those responsible for Benfica that he is available to take the player to England, where he'll be able to join the squad that already has Ricardo Pereira. João Rego has already followed Leicester City. He can play as a cam and a winger. He has potential, great technique and ball control, good dribbling, very creative and agile. One on Football Manager again, who's believed to be a wonder kid. They put him, referred him to like João Felix, who's obviously come through their academy as well. Rui Costa's come through their academy. Eusebio did play for Benfica, and Bernardo Silva and Ruben Diaz. It was also the two came through there. But what sort of digging have you done on the man himself, João Rego?
Well, just before we start, the one player that I thought you were going to mention, but you didn't in regards to Benfica, was Miguel Vitor, who came in to Leicester.
Yes,
he was at Benfica.
Yes,
yeah. I mean, he's a very tricky sort of talented cam that can play up front, which is good. He can play a couple of positions, which is great. He's still young. He's not played many games this last season for Benfica. He did in the second team in Liga 2. But he only played 3 games for their main squad and 4 games in Europe, and once in the cup. So he's made a couple of appearances. He has been capped under 17s, under 18s, and under 19s for Portugal. So clearly they see him as a talented product and prospect. Somebody that is actually on a long contract with Benfica. He's there till 2028. So if he's coming on loan and then obligation to buy, I wonder what the fee would potentially be. But someone that's still young, that can still develop. And these are the sort of transfers that we should be looking at as a football club. Going out, finding some young lads that have potential, that can come in, do a job, and settle and do a job in the Championship, and then hopefully make the step up next year if we go up. And if not, and he's still here, then we got a decent player for next season.
Benfica fans are very much highly rated of him, to be fair. They say that he'd be a fantastic player for Leicester, and he's young. Made his debut at the age of 18. He has great experience in the Portuguese league, and he's been a good young player prospect for them that they want to send him out on loan. How much the obligation fee is going to be at the end of it is another thing if Leicester City go up this season. So then again, he is a centre attacking mid. So then again, we talk about Mr. Bilal El-Khanous, whose release clause runs out today. It is believed to be 11:59 p.m. When I sort of looked at it on the sort of, is it Croc? The X thing?
I don't know.
It's where you ask it questions on X.
Oh, Grok. Yeah.
So I sort of asked it that. I said, if Bilal El-Khanous release clause, when's it run out? And it says 11:59 if it's the transfer window. So I'm like, okay, then we'll have a look at that. Yeah,
but I guess with Bilal is that even if his contract, his release clause expires come midnight, I don't necessarily think it matters, because it just means that a club can come in and offer him 5 million more, but on better payment terms. I think his release clause means that they need money up front. Almost all of it all up front rather than in installments. So, we could still see movement for Bilal. I wouldn't hold out too much hope that with the release clause gone, he stays at the club.
Yeah, I agree. Steve, before I let you go, the new kit, what's your thoughts? I seen your post earlier on X about 500 likes, and then you put ...
Yeah, I ain't doing that again, that's for sure.
Someone put out with 500 likes, he'll get wild fast on it.
He did, yeah. So I retweeted that. Go and like it if anybody's there. But but actually, hang on before we go on to kits. Jack, what are we doing with the pink kit with the name on the back? Have we ordered it yet? Have we got a name that's going on the back?
Well, this is the thing. and I ain't pulling out of it either. I need to get it done.
You do. Who's going on the back though?
Do you know what? Someone asked me this at Huddersfield on Wednesday night, and they said you got 500 likes on the IU one. Well, it's about 600 odd, and then they said when you asked the fans who do you think should go back on it voted Oliver Skipp. So I'm a bit torn between two.
So I would say because I already have Jordan IU on the back of my shirt, you should go for Oliver Skipp. We should do this together. It makes sense. It makes sense. You can't come in. We're
going to look like the Chuckle Brothers going down the street, aren't we?
Yeah, damn right. But in regards to the new away kit, I was actually shocked because I thought it was going to be shit.
We ain't balling it.
I genuinely thought that the leaks that came out were going to be poor, but I quite like it, and I'm really annoyed because it means that I'm probably going to end up buying 3 Leicester shirts this season, and that's not something that I've done for a very, very, very long time. So a bit frustrating, but yeah, I like it. I think it's a nice kit.
Do you know what? I weren't sure with the leak, but looking at it in the picture, it does more justice to what it is. It reverts back to the Foxes and Leisure one, the same colour. It's just I've done something different with it, which I think a sponsor would look okay on it, depending what it is.
Give us King Power. It looks good on all 3 of those shirts. King Power does.
Yeah, so why don't we sort of go with that? That's what I'm sort of thinking. But
yeah,
Steve, I'm going to ask you 2 questions before I let you go. The starting 11 for tomorrow.
Yeah.
What are you going for?
I think we're going to have some changes, to be honest. I think if Akoli has had his head turned, I don't think he plays. I think it starts with Stalasic in goal, Luke Thomas, Yannick Vestergaard, Ben Nelson. Oh, no. It'll be Wout Fass. It will be Wout Fass that starts with Vestergaard. Right back, Hamza Choudhury, Harry Winks and Samare, Mavididi, Fatawu, Bilal, and then IU up top.
Fantastic.
I just get people say Nelson. I just can't see Nelson starting because he wasn't great against Huddersfield. And let's be honest, as much as we hate to say it, Wout Fass is actually our best defender. And I don't like saying it because he's a prick, but he is our best central defender.
Funny enough, though, Caleb Akoli is still at the club.
He is, but
training,
yeah. But as we know, he didn't play well, did he, against Sheffield Wednesday? So whereas Fass came on, scored a goal, and looked pretty decent, even against Huddersfield, who played okay. So yeah, I just think we're going to see Fass in a Leicester shirt again.
And what was your score prediction for tomorrow's game?
I said 3-1 Leicester, but we all know that my predictions when it comes to Leicester haven't been great so far, with a 6-0 prediction against Sheffield Wednesday, and we did not do that. So 3-1 would be nice, but if the Leicester of the first half turns up again, we could get battered. We really could.
We should win that game. Should. With the squad that we've got. But then I was talking to a Preston fan, and he said they play 5 at the back at home. And I know at Sheffield Wednesday, they played a 5 at the back.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, we struggle to break that down, innit? But then we have to sort of go for a 3-4-1-2 to sort of break that up. But Steve, what's on the food agenda for tomorrow? Is it Spud Bros date at Deepdale, do you reckon? Or
so what time do you think you'll get to Deepdale? Or are you going up on the coach again? Or are you driving?
I should be there for about 1:15, maybe, half 12.
In city centre?
No, the Spud Bros runs outside Deepdale.
Oh, is it? Oh, perfect. Even better then. Then, yes, I'll no doubt go get myself a Spud Bros and see how that is. Plenty of protein. So if there's
we might actually see a Steve Elm food review, maybe.
You could. Yeah. Like, to be honest, I'm going to start doing a tier list for the season, and because at the moment, that chicken is right at the top. It's going to take a lot to beat that chicken that I had, for sure.
Well, hopefully the potato does you justice.
Here's hoping.
Yeah. Steve, thanks for coming on, mate. Appreciate it, and I'll catch you tomorrow at Deepdale.
Cheers, guys. Have a good evening.
Right, guys, that is the end of the late night whistle. Really appreciate everyone coming in as always. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this stream. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and you haven't subscribed to it already. Please get down and do so. The like target, I think Steve set it at 70. So if we can hit 70 likes, fantastic. If you're watching this on playback, then get involved. Let me know your thoughts. Page and Manga. Always good to have Steve on. WLB, see you later, mate. Take care. Great show, Jack. Everton to thrash dirty Leeds on Monday. Cheers, Frankie. And yeah, good night. Tomorrow we'll have the match day vlog out as I'll be heading to Deepdale as Leicester take on Preston in the first away game in the league, by the way. So yeah, looking forward to it. Go and check out the match preview, what I did with Charlie Wynyard. Go and check out Championship predictions, which is also on there, to see what I voted for Leicester City this weekend in score prediction. I went for 2-0. I wonder who's going to score them goals. Probably more defenders or midfielders this time, or Stolosic might get one from his goal, but who knows? Daniel Everson will also be in goal for Preston, so yeah, it'd be good to see him again. But thanks for watching. Take care. Have a great rest of your Friday night, wherever you're up to, and keep it at the final whistle.